And finally, new rule, if you can't read, you can't be president. Now, I know Donald Trump is a stable genius, but he handles a teleprompter about as well as the Real Housewives handle wine. That's why it took him an hour and a half to sound out the State of the Union address. The man is an after-school special waiting to happen. He read so slowly. They had to set the teleprompter speed to Shatner. Now, of course, the president can read a little. FDR could dance a little. But those are the people you have to talk to. I'm sending you out there. But according to Michael Wolff, for Trump, quote, if it was in print, it might as well not exist. Some believe that for all practical purpose, he was no more than semi-literate. Ooh, burn. And pretty sneaky of Wolff to put it where Trump will never see it, in a book. Today, we learned that Trump does not read the presidential daily briefing as every other president has. Members of the National Security Council say the only way to get him to read a memo is to stick his name in every paragraph because he keeps reading if he's mentioned. Like a baby will keep eating his peas if you go, here comes the airplane every time. You can tell Trump has not taken in new information for decades because he's always saying, most people don't know that. About things that most people do, in fact, know.
Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Abraham Lincoln. Most people don't even know he was a Republican.
People don't realize we are an unbelievably divided country.
People don't know this about Iraq, but they have among the largest oil reserves in the world.
He writes it himself, doesn't he? Here's a picture of Trump hard at work. Have you ever seen an emptier desk? No need for pen, paper, or any device. It's all up here, baby. And that is possibly the worst thing about him, his certainty that all he knows is all anybody would ever need to know. Psychologists call this the Dunning-Kruger effect, the tendency of ignorant people to think they're much smarter than they are. Usually it's harmless and just leads to rock bands making concept albums about robots. But it gets scary when it leads to a president who thinks global warming isn't real because it still snows. Trump says, I like reading as little as possible. I don't need, 200-page reports on something that can be handled on a page. He's actually proud that he makes decisions without learning anything, which makes him the perfect president for a nation perpetually looking at its phone. They don't like you to attack the phone. Illiteracy isn't Trump's shame, it's his bond with us. A sub-literate president for a sub-literate country. A country where a majority of adults get their news from Facebook, and 24% of teenagers are almost constantly online, mostly with James Franco. A quarter of Americans say they haven't read a book in the past year, and the other 3/4 are lying. Lately, the hottest thing in publishing has been adult coloring books, which you can find in the bookstore in the section marked Seriously. People will always say, I love to read, but don't dig into that too deep. What they mean is they went to Barnes & Noble's to buy a cat calendar and on the way out picked up yet another book on cooking in the miracle pot, or a self-help book, or one of the many stories of a boy who dies and meets Jesus in heaven and comes back to life, or some nonsense that's really for juveniles, like Harry Potter or Twilight. I mean, there's reading and then there's reading. 50 Shades of Grey is to literature what candy corn is to vegetables. And I hate to tell you, Facebook is not a place to read in the sense of garnering real and valuable information. Facebook is what replaced reading. So you'd have more time to take pictures of your dick. And no, sorry, staring at your phone doesn't make you a reader, any more than watching fireworks makes you an astronomer, or getting a tramp stamp makes your ass a museum. All right.